just as in astronomy, one of the things I think is cool to get out of astronomy is knowing a little bit about the constellations and have an appreciation for them anyway. Also, then in meteorology, what I think is fun is being able to look at the clouds and to be able to kind of give cloud names. So I'm going to do my best to kind of show you hints on being able to understand these 10 basic cloud types based upon some kind of different criteria. So the first criteria is it a flat sort of cloud or is it fluffy? And let me go ahead and say now that sometimes you'll look at the sky and there's like 3 different cloud types there. So don't psych yourself out. That's quite possible. And sometimes it's hard to know if it's flat or fluffy. But back to if it's flat or fluffy. If it's a flat sort of cloud, it's going to have the word stratus or strat in it somewhere. If it's a fluffy cloud, it's going to have the word cumulo or cum in it somewhere. And then the other thing is that and this is the last criteria, well, if there's one more criteria, I guess, is it a low cloud, is it a middle cloud, or is it a high cloud? If it's a low cloud, no prefix. If it's a middle cloud, we go alto. And if it's a high cloud, it's going to be cirrus or cirro. Okay. So I guess the third criteria is it precipitating or not? If it is precipitating, then it gets a nimbo or nimbus sort of part in its name. So here we go. 10 different cloud types. Let's see how we can do. Let's start with, let me go ahead and draw some lines here. I have low clouds here. Kind of, let's see if I want to do that. I have middle clouds here. You see the word alto. Okay, and then I have high clouds up here. Okay, so these are low, middle, and high clouds with regard to their elevation. So let's start with the low clouds and see what we got. So if it's a low flat cloud, flat goes stratus. Since it's low, it has nothing like alto or cirrus, so it's just simply stratus. If it is a low cloud, now this is kind of a weird one. Okay, this is a relatively low cloud. Notice it's stratocumulus. You're like, well, Mrs. Snipes, I thought you could either be flat or fluffy. So this is kind of both. It's flat and fluffy. So, yes. If it's a relatively low cloud and it's fluffy, it's just called cumulus. So we kind of have these three low clouds. One more, I guess, low cloud I have down here is, because they don't generally get very tall, is nimbostratus. Nimbo, we said, was precipitating, and stratus was flat. All right. So let's go to the middle clouds, shall we? So the middle clouds, I have the word alto. So we have an alto flat, alto stratus. We have an alto fluffy, alto cumulus, and I guess that's pretty much it. That's our middle clouds, okay? Then we go to the high clouds, and they must have the word cirro in them somewhere. So we have a cirrostratus, so that means high flat. We have a cirrocumulus, so that must be high fluffy. And then we have just plain old cirrus, which cirrus is kind of, again, a flat cloud, but it's a high flat cloud. Okay. I don't know if this looks like, does this look like mare's tails? Mare's tails. Like a horse. Okay. Sometimes the cirrus clouds look like that. These look like little cotton balls. Okay, because they're so high up. And cirrostratus clouds can give us kind of some neat things. I'll go ahead and say halo. That's a halo. That doesn't look like a halo. It looks like a corona, actually, around the sun. It can give us some neat things. Let's see. Cotton balls. Let me go ahead and say one more thing up here, cotton balls. Sometimes we call this a mackerel sky, like a fish mackerel. Oh, I'm going to probably butcher the name mackerel. So one cloud I didn't say, or two clouds I didn't say, I guess just one, is we have cumulo, means it's fluffy, and nimbus means it's precipitating. So cumulonimbus clouds, of course, that would be our thunderstorm clouds. Woo. So on your unit exam, actually, I'm going to give you some pictures, I think, again, maybe even these pictures. How's that? I won't work too hard. And I'm going to ask you what sort of cloud types they look like. Now, starting with the high clouds, and it's hard if you aren't given perspective, but the fact that you're given trees here, these probably look kind of high. This looks like a mackerel sky, I think. Mackerel sky. And mackerel skies would be your fluffy, and they're high, cirrocumulus. And then this is cirrostratus, and I mentioned corona. Coronas actually touch the sun, and this one actually is halo. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so those wispy high clouds give you some neat effects around the sun and the moon. Then we can go to the middle clouds. This is an altostratus. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do a video question because I think this would be hard to tell. Okay, so just kind of sit back and enjoy. You're not going to see these on a test. So alto meaning middle, because it's hard to get perspective, and stratus meaning flat. And then we have altocumulus. So, yeah, I think these are about the size of the cotton ball. These would be about the size of your thumb. Okay, the mackerel sky, if you extended your hand, the mackerel sky would be about the size of your pinky, those cirrocumulus clouds. And these are altocumulus clouds, about the size of your thumb. And then we have the low clouds. So stratus. Stratus, then, the fact that it doesn't have alto or cirrus means that it's low, and its stratus means flat. So stratus clouds sometimes are related to actually fog, coming up in a minute. And then we have the middle clouds, just cumulus, okay, and then we have the stratocumulus. Isn't that beautiful? Stratocumulus, again, it's a low-level cloud because it doesn't have alto or cirro. Stratocumulus means it's kind of a little flat, a little fluffy. And then we have our nimbostratus clouds. Now, this is a hard one to kind of show, but the fact that it has the term nimbo in it must mean it's precipitating somewhere, relatively flat. And here we have our storm cloud, our cumulonimbus cloud.